So we're talking week 1 at Dallas, week 2 at New Orleans, week 3 home opener versus the Packers at 425, presumably would be America's game of the week. And then week 4, home against the Chiefs, Sunday Night Football. So, Josh, that is almost a murderer's row of
It is. That's
to
three
start a
playoff.
season.
Yeah, 3 playoff teams from last year. Plus, the Bucs probably biggest thorn in their side from a divisional standpoint with the Saints in week 2. So, yeah, if they come out of that 3-1, 4-0, you're thinking you're on easy street, for the rest of the season. I think I saw a tweet. I believe it was Evan Winter from A to Z Sports. He had taken
Shout out, Evan.
Yeah, absolutely. He had said that, based on projected wins, those first 4 opponents, the winning percentage is like almost 560. And then from there on out, you look at the rest of the opponents. We know the opponents, we just don't know where they'll slot in terms of the schedule. The winning percentage projected for those opponents is something like 440 or something like that. So if you can get out of those first 4 games, if you're the Bucs, with a 500 or better record, you're feeling pretty good about the rest of the season. So I know most fans aren't going to love a 2-2 record coming out of the first 4 weeks, but I think that, you look at those 4 opponents, 2-2, that's not terrible, especially when you line it up with the rest. The other interesting thing I think this shows is with those first 4 weeks is potentially you're looking at a back half, of the season where you're again getting Atlanta twice, again getting Carolina twice. And at least based on what we know now, Atlanta had a really good draft. Carolina's hoping to turn things around, but you feel pretty good about having 4 games against those later in the season, and those are hopefully bankable wins.
Yeah, the Bucs are lucky too that the NFC South is in a down year, presumably with some of the opponents that they're playing this year on the calendar. Now it's almost on the offensive side of the ball where last year we were like, okay, the Cowboys are going to be stacked and locked and loaded at this position. Now, maybe not so much. So I understand all of the issues that the Bucs have had with New Orleans, and week 2 will obviously be a big test, especially going there.
Yep.
But I could see them, if they get that first win of the season, I think that really sets the tone for the Bucs moving forward. If they can start out 1-0, it takes a lot of pressure off that week 2 game against the Saints, which obviously has been a house of horrors for the Bucs.
Yeah, looking at those first 4 matchups, I think when you look at Dallas, I think that's a huge opportunity for the Bucs because week 1, most likely Michael Gallup's not going to be back from his injury. I think it was an ACL tear, right? So, and they got rid of Amari Cooper. So you're really looking at a wide receiving core that's headlined by CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz is the tight end. They do have formidable backfield, and of course Dak is always dangerous. And if you go back to the week 1 matchup last year, it got to be a bit of a shootout. You hope that the Bucs defense can kind of shut down the Dallas offense at that point. And I think most Bucs fans and most people looking at the Bucs offense feel like the Bucs offense is still going to be pretty good. So I think that one's out of the 4, probably for me personally, looking at the Bucs, I would say probably the one I feel best about. New Orleans, you're absolutely right in terms of their offense, but it's really been their defense that has given the Bucs fits. And their defensive coordinator just got promoted to head coach, and I don't know for the life of me, I having trouble with his name. He's still there.
Dennis Allen,
right? And they somehow were able to reload that defense despite losing some critical pieces. So you always worry a little bit about that. Then you look at the Packers game. Packers defense is going to be fantastic. They really upgraded their defense. Some would say at the expense of their offense. And you wonder what that offense is going to look like without Devontae Adams. I think getting the Packers early is probably good for the Bucs, knowing that they had to play him at some point. You would think Christian Watson's probably not going to be up to speed. And you worry, if you're a Green Bay fan, I would assume you're worrying about that passing attack. And then the Chiefs will be interesting. They did a great job of upgrading their defense this year. I think that a lot of people are underestimating what their offense can be just because they lost Tyreek Hill. But you look at the rest of what they did with the money that they could have paid to Hill, and they certainly created more weapons across that offense. You have Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Juju Smith-Schuster added on to Travis Kelce, and Patrick Mahomes got some options there. So that one's really exciting for me. Probably one of the most exciting matchups of the season as I look at the schedule. in terms of I think there could be fireworks in that game. Plus, it's a repeat of the Super Bowl from 2 years ago. So, Bucs fans and Chiefs fans are both circling that one on their schedules.
Want to give a shout out as well to Mr. Bucs Nation. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. He says, got to support my guys. Let's go PR. Thank you so much. And make sure you subscribe to Mr. Bucs Nation YouTube channel as well. And subscribe to the Pewter Report YouTube channel. And everyone, please hit those thumbs up, hit the like buttons, help us up our followers and increase that algorithm. It helps us out, just spreads the word. And all the information that Pewter Report brings to you. But yeah, Josh, I think you bring up a great point too, that it's good. You almost would rather face better teams in the beginning of the season because everyone's in the same situation where you're still trying to work some kinks out. You're not going to be as good as you are in September as you are in December and January when you're making that playoff push or getting into the playoffs. And I think especially Aaron Rodgers is a guy that heats up as, the season gets going. Like, I don't know if you remember, I believe it was Packers Saints week one last year. It was in Jacksonville, I believe, because there was
hurricane in New Orleans.
Yeah, hurricane issues in New Orleans. And they smacked the crap out of the Packers. Like Aaron Rodgers had his worst game maybe of his career, and the Saints and Jameis Winston looked like, that they were going to go that they were going to go 16-1, and clearly that was not the case. In New Orleans, it is what it is. James got hurt and they never got a quarterback since. But especially with Green Bay, as you mentioned, they lost Davante Adams. He's their number one weapon. Rodgers can make any offense go well. But when you don't have to worry about Adams, and listen, we all love Christian Watson. Shout out Kay Huddy. She'll be on the show a little bit later today. Watson is a good player. He could be a very exciting player. I'm not going to be overly concerned about him yet in week 3 when there hasn't even been Bucs rookie minicamp in general. Bucs rookie minicamp starts tomorrow. I can't get worked up over Christian Watson as the number one target for Aaron Rodgers. And also, too, the Chiefs I still think are going to be studs no matter what. Like that offense, as long as you have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, I think you're going to be fine. Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, just
that offensive
great
line.
Yeah, well, the offensive line, we'll see what's up with that. But I'm actually really excited for Juju Smith-Schuster as well, too. Obviously, he's coming off a serious injury, but he was able to come back for the playoff game. With all due respect to Big Ben, you're now going with Patrick Mahomes, who is going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time and is one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. But again, to your point, it's playing a team early. They might not have that chemistry yet where the Bucs, you have everyone in place. Yeah, Tom Brady's going to have to work with Russell Gage a little bit, but he's still going to have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. The defense, you're going to have everyone along the defensive line. Okay, you got Logan Hill at defensive tackle, but you're still going to have Shaq Barrett on the edge. You're still going to have Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean out there, Antoine Winfield Jr. Like, this is a team that, while still young, they have years of playing together. So I never worry as much about teams that have that camaraderie. Yeah, you're going to mix in pieces here and there, as I mentioned, with Gage and Hall. But overall, like that Bucs defense, I think will be well equipped for a Chiefs offense that has to figure out what they're doing with Juju Smith-Schuster, and a Packers offense that, without question, is worse without Davante Adams there. And you're banking on a rookie that got drafted in the second round to, be the next guy to really stand up. So it does look daunting, those first 4 games, but I think 2-2 is very, very possible. But I also think 3-1, the more I talk about it, I was a little concerned when I first saw it, but the more I talk about it, the better I feel, because at the end of the day, you got Tom Brady.